Let's think about the Teachers College in our hearts and minds, which touches every corner of the world every day. What is Teachers College? It's the epicenter of education, health, and psychology. It is nearly every school system, community health program, and multicultural counseling program in the United States and beyond. But it's also a coffee cart on West 120th Street. It's a speeding number 1 train. It's the early morning sunlight over Morningside Park. And at this uncertain moment, it's a way of being in a complicated world. Teachers College is the stuff that dreams are made of. It is a canvas on which each successive generation paints its murals. It's a universal library where we add our collective masterworks. It's a mixing board to lay down our tracks alongside the greats. Teachers College is Harlem, where we work with educators learning the neighborhood's proud history and legacy of resourcefulness and indomitable will. TC is America's community colleges, which are a gateway for underserved populations. And TC is also indelibly New York City, where we are helping schools transition to online education, bringing critically needed medical equipment to major hospitals, and providing psychological services, even as the current crisis touches us personally. But Teachers College is also Bangladesh and Lebanon. TC is Ecuador and Peru. It's Ghana and Cambodia and Bolivia. It's China and it's Europe. On almost every continent, we find TC, creating and improving schools, bringing physics to young people worldwide through hip-hop pedagogy, giving displaced people new hope, working with indigenous populations to preserve their own languages, helping children with cleft palate reclaim their lives, empowering children with autism to utter their first words. All of these people, states, and countries are Teachers College, as are all the places our students call home. It's everywhere that our graduates are shaping a healthier, better educated, more equitable, and more joyful world. TC is in our hearts and minds, as well as in every corner of the world.
Good afternoon. It is my great honor to welcome all of you to the inaugural symposium of the Arnhold Institute for Dance Education, Research, Policy, and Leadership. The Arnhold Institute was established 2 years ago at Teachers College with a bold premise and vision set forth by its founding benefactor, TC alumna and dance education luminary, Jody Gottfried Arnhold. Jody's premise was and is compelling. Dance should be as much an essential part of every child's educational experience as music and art are. In order for that to happen, you need to have outstanding teachers who are trained by doctoral level educators. You need research, lots of research, in dance education history and pedagogy to inform the preparation of dance educators. You need to develop and disseminate research in order to create a vibrant community of scholars, institutional partners, and advocates. They, in turn, produce a force multiplier effect for making dance education ubiquitous in all our schools. That was Jody's vision for building leadership in the field and putting dance education on equal footing with art education and music education. Her genius was to translate her vision into a 3-part strategy. Part 1, launch a one-of-its-kind doctoral program that prepares the vanguard of teacher educators, researchers, policy experts, and leaders in dance education. Part 2, establish a national hub for galvanizing transformative research that aims to increase access to high-quality dance instruction, to eliminate educational disparities and to promote diversity, equity, and inclusion in our public schools. Part 3, house this program and hub at an eminent teaching and research institution that embraces its social justice mission of helping to create a smarter, healthier, and more equitable world. In other words, right here at Teachers College. Thanks to Jody's vision and generosity, we now have the nation's preeminent dance education doctoral program that will propel a vibrant community of Arnhold scholars and transform the field of dance education. It will prepare the next generation of dance teachers, shape educational leadership and policy, and accelerate the discovery and transmission of new knowledge. With today's event, the Institute takes its first major step towards becoming a convener of scholars, practitioners, policymakers, and institutional and community partners, all united in their commitment to social justice and all united in their devotion to dance education. Of course, no introduction can do full justice to the breadth of Jody's career or the transformative impact she has had and continues to have on the world of dance education, on the cultural life of New York City, and on countless colleagues and fellow dance educators and formal students whose lives she has touched. Jody's resume speaks for itself. She taught dance in New York public schools for 25 years. She founded the Dance Education Laboratory at the 92nd Street Y to meet a critical need for preparing highly skilled dance teachers to work with children and teens. She championed several dance companies in New York, including Ballet Hispanico. But for Jody Arnhold, there likely would be no dance program in New York City public schools, and certainly no Arnhold Institute at TC. It's a fitting expression of Jody's vision, values, and lifelong pursuit of social justice that the Arnhold Institute's inaugural symposium celebrates the Harlem Renaissance and honors pioneering figures in dance education by focusing on promoting access and equity. If you have not yet become a believer in the transformative power of dance education, you will after you hear from Jody Arnhold. Please join me in welcoming distinguished Teachers College alumna and my friend, Jody Gottfried Arnhold.
Thank you, President Bailey. In 2019, I founded the Arnhold Institute for Dance Education Research, Policy, and Leadership with a vision to champion transformative, policy-relevant dance education research, with the mission to eliminate disparities and improve access, equity, inclusion, and high-quality dance learning for children in pre-K-12 public education. The Institute is proud to present its inaugural symposium this evening. Recent worldwide events, the COVID-19 pandemic, the Black Lives Matter movement, and our nation's political and economic strife have made the Institute's mission more critical than ever. As our youngest citizens, our pre-K-12 children have important perspectives about creating a more just, caring, and sustainable world. The Teachers College community has long advanced dance making, art making, and music making as essential methods for children's learning, identity formation, artistic meaning making, and socially just practices. As we look towards a future of healing, dance and quality arts education is essential more than ever. I view the Arnhold Institute and the doctoral program in dance education as a continuance of a 127-year legacy of dance education scholarship at Teachers College. Over this history, faculty has included some of the most highly acclaimed professionals in the field, including Thais Barry, Irmgard Bartenieff, Francisca Boaz, Gertrude Colby, Irene Dowd, Robert Ellis Dunn, Jean Erdman, Mimi Garrard, Martha Graham, Hanya Holm, Lucas Hoving, Doris Humphrey, Louise Klepper, La Marie, Richard Krause, Alwyn Nicolai, Charles Weidman, and many more luminaries. This stellar faculty has prepared some of the most outstanding Teachers College alumni and leaders across the globe. This evening, we celebrate one extraordinary alumna in particular, Beryl Mcburney. A maverick and dynamo, she was better known by her stage name, La Belle Rosette. You will learn more about her, her Little Carib Theater in Trinidad and Tobago, as well as her exceptional work bringing dance and dance education to people from every walk of life. She believed that dance was for every person and every child. As the Arnhold Institute prepares to activate its vision for eliminating disparities in dance education, this inaugural symposium looks most importantly to seminal Black and African American histories that, though they have largely been ignored, have shaped the field of dance and dance education at Teachers College and beyond. Starting from the Harlem Renaissance, the symposium provides a unique opportunity to journey into the past century as a path to re-examine how dance and dance education can create a better world in the 21st century and beyond. I am now so proud to introduce the Executive Director of the Arnhold Institute, Dr. Barbara Bashaw, Arnhold Professor of Practice in Dance Education.
Thank you, Jody and President Bailey, and welcome everyone to the inaugural Arnhold Institute Symposium. Here at Teachers College, we have long anticipated this event. Indeed, the four brilliant guest speakers you'll hear from this evening had expected to be on campus in person for this event more than a year ago. We thank them for their dedication and their flexibility as we found it necessary to shift this to a virtual format. Our theme for the symposium is Pioneering Visions for Access and Equity in Dance Education. This theme has been in our hearts and on our minds since the inception of the Arnhold Institute and long before the harrowing events of this past year. As Jody mentioned, those events have only deepened our commitment to celebrating diversity, honoring Black and African American history, and recognizing this as foundational to dance and dance education today. We understand from oral history that people across many ages and diasporas have always danced to learn about, make meaning of, and record their knowledge of the world. Thus, dancing has long been a vessel for education. There are dances to pass on the knowledge of weather, earth, rivers, and stars. Dances about birth, rites of passage, war, and healing. Dance can serve as a type of GPS system guiding people to their history through ritual rites, as well as for spurring imagination and bold new futures. Dance aids in personal identity formation, and it solidifies group identity. It has also served as a secret code to preserve cultures under threat. In other words, dance has been and remains an integral part of world making. Now, I would like you to imagine that you are an elementary school teacher with your Zoom window open, joyful to be alongside 25 eager fourth graders who have gathered with you. With bodies alert, you welcome them to choreographer's workshop time. Now, for the past few months, you've all been researching the civil rights activist Ruby Bridges for the social studies curriculum and studying the work and research process of activistic choreographer Pearl Primus for the dance curriculum. Your students are now ready to begin synthesizing their data sets together by choreographing and composing, as Primus might, their small group dances about Ruby Bridges' life. After riffing about what they've learned and what they might want to include in their dances, you pose this critical question. What message or lesson do you want to get across about your civil rights to the adults who will view your dances? This type of questioning encourages children to make some judgments about their elders and community leaders and to think about the kind of world they would like to envision for their future. And from there, to consider the kinds of dances they might want to make to empower that. We are here tonight not because dance and arts education research are important, but because the reasons for doing research are important, namely a better world for our children and young adults. In forging future pathways of dance education through research, The Arnhold Institute feels that it is vital to begin by examining the past and consider the multiple histories, many of which have been silenced, that need to inform the future. We also believe we must reckon with the role Teachers College has played in this history. Beginning back with Delsart classes in 1893, Teachers College had by 1920 established its reputation as the birthplace of dance education in U.S. academia. By this time, it was a recognized powerhouse, producing some of the earliest dance teacher educators and leaders, according to contemporary scholars. We know from recorded history that an incredible lineage of radical women from TC began defining the field and making a place for it in universities and K-12 schools. One of those early pioneers at Teachers College was Professor Gertrude Klein Colby, who believed that beyond dancing steps, we dance ideas, not unlike the classroom anecdote I mentioned earlier. She also believed that dance should be made accessible for every child and thought it was important for all teachers, not just dance educators, to make that happen. A century later, we know that this vision is yet to be fulfilled. Through the Arnhold Institute, its research activities, and annual symposium, we work to re-empower this vision and strive to make it one that is centered on diversity, access, equity, and inclusion. Following Colby, women like Margaret Dobler, Martha Hill, and Alma Hawkins, all Teachers College alumni, have since been credited and celebrated as the primary 20th century matriarchs who shaped the history of dance as an academic field. While we recognize the importance of their significant contributions and recognize the gender inequity they struggled to overcome, we also know that as white women, they benefited from privileges that were out of reach for many of their equally talented contemporaries. Therefore, we are obligated to question the quests, thrusts, arguments, and beliefs of their pioneering efforts. We need to perpetually apply a critical theoretical lens to expose binaries often produced in the Western canon of thought. We need to scrutinize how prejudice, discrimination, and marginalization have intersected with and shaped implicit and inherited assumptions that continue to reverberate in dance education today. This Arnhold Institute Symposium asks, if dance is about world making, then where are the pioneers in histories that don't exactly fit the Eurocentric pattern? Who else might have crossed paths at Teachers College? Who else contributed to dance education in our college and K-12 schools? How can the efforts and achievements of diverse pioneers come to be valued and uncovered? We have eternal work ahead to decolonize history as a path to a healthier and more just future. In this symposium, we look to open portals of hope, and we seek the connection points between the many histories that layer, mingle, and converge to form the timeless landscape of this field. We will begin in the 1920s. During this era, the burgeoning field of dance academia was applauding TC alum Margaret Dobler for creating the first college dance major in 1926. But at the same time, African American dance artists like Helmsley Winsfield, Edna Guy, and Katherine Dunham were forging new horizons, as well as pioneering their own schools of thought during the Harlem Renaissance, as you'll soon hear from our first guest speaker, Dr. John Perpiner. While TC alum Martha Hill was accumulating recognition for fueling modern dance in universities during the 1930s, you'll hear from our second guest speaker, Dr. Mary Ann Laverty, that Charles H. Williams, an African-American college professor, was pioneering the Hampton Institute Creative Dance Group with a rather more expensive repertory than just modern dance. In fact, Charles Williams' path did cross at Teachers College, as he was well networked with many TC figures. This included Dr. Jessie Fearing Williams, an internationally recognized expert in physical education, with whom Charles studied during the summer of 1932 for the purpose of his own professional development. Both distinguished gentlemen had traveled to the University of Southern California, which was offering courses and lectures on the Summer Olympiad held in Los Angeles that year. As Laverty reminds us, Charles was serving on the Olympiad Advisory Committee. Through archival searches we recently conducted, we came across a description for Dr. Faring Williams' course, and it may illuminate why Charles was interested in enrolling in it. It was a seminar for advanced students, and the course focused on, quote, the special study of acute problems in the field of organization, administration, supervision, teacher training, and research, end quote. As Laverty notes in her study, Charles Williams wrote a 29-page final paper for the course entitled Outline of Health and Physical Education for Junior and Senior High Schools for Negro Children. In this, we witness the fearless advancement that Charles Williams sought on behalf of Black and African American school children. Charles Williams was also acquainted with TC alum Martha Hill and the Big Four of modern dance, Martha Graham, Doris Humphrey, Charles Weidman, and Hanya Holm, all of whom were on the TC faculty at the time. Furthermore, Williams was familiar with Mabel Carney, who was a professor of rural education at Teachers College and deeply committed to African and African American education. She taught regularly at the Hampton Institute in the summers, and it was the student group that Carney advised at TC who invited Williams and his creative dance group to perform at Teachers College in the Horace Mann Auditorium during the spring of 1938. This performance, 83 years ago, inspired us to invite Dr. Laverty to reconstruct several of the works with doctoral students from this exact concert, although with physical distancing as an additional creative factor. Only 3 months after this historic dance concert, in the summer of 1938, a young dancer scholar from Trinidad made her way to New York City and enrolled at Teachers College. Her name, now legendary, was Beryl Mcburney. Her time at TC sits between that of the revered Alma Hawkins, celebrated for developing the first dance department in university education. Now, the transcript of the adventurous Mcburney speaks to her wide-ranging interests as an alumna of the arts and humanities. In her first semester, Mcburney studied dance for young children with Gertrude Colby's protege, Mary O'Donnell, and she studied direction and play production with Milton Smith, a professor in the speech program, and also drawing in what was then the fine arts program, most likely with Olive Riley. During her years at TC, Mcburney also studied Dalcroze Eurythmics in the music program with Elsa Finley and modern dance with Martha Graham, Hanya Holm, and Louis Horst, all at Teachers College. As you will hear from our guest scholar, Judy Raymond, Mcburney augmented her studies with a prospering career at the latter end of the Harlem Renaissance. It was this enriching dance performance career and this enriching time at TC that further fueled Mcburney's pioneering spirit and led to the significant contributions she made in the US and in her homeland of Trinidad, including her Little Carib Theater, which still exists today. In tonight's symposium, we celebrate our alumnus Beryl Mcburney and honor the incredible legacy and pathways she has provided. In our final segment of the symposium, we look to forging paths to the future with our guest speaker, Dr. Ojea Cruz Banks. She calls for revisioning dance education through Black, African, and Indigenous perspectives and pedagogies. As Dr. Perpiner states in his book, Catherine Dunham's high school dance teacher influenced her early life as an artist scholar. So let us go again back in time to our mind's eye to the elementary school class session we visited at the beginning of this talk. As you listen to our guest scholars tonight, imagine again our young fourth grade artist researchers and what it would mean for them to dance in the footsteps of the pioneers we will celebrate tonight. Imagine their possibilities for making a better, more just, and inclusive world. Thank you. Now it's my pleasure to introduce my colleague, Dr. Ted Warburton, the Senior Fellow for the Arnhold Institute, who will tell you more about our symposium co-sponsors.
Thank you, Barbara. Tonight's symposium is co-sponsored by Creating a Better World. Teachers College celebrates the Harlem Renaissance, a series of events through which Teachers College celebrates and recognizes the importance of the Harlem Renaissance at its 100th anniversary. The Renaissance's intensive creativity in Black literature, music, theater, visual arts, and progressive social thought unfolded close by our campus on Harlem's southern edge at 120th Street. Curated by TC's Professor Erica Walker and Associate Vice President Nancy Strime, Creating a Better World is also connected to a broad 2-year New York City celebration of the centennial. Thank you, Professor Walker and Associate Vice President Strime, for your generous support of our speakers this evening. If our audience is interested in learning more about additional symposia, salons, and exhibitions in this series, please visit the Arnhold Institute Symposium website.